right? Jets, Patriots, Monday Night Football. Excuse me, Thursday Night Football. Patriots laying 12.5 to the Jets. All right. Simply put, Justin Fields stinks. And the Patriots, let's look at who the Patriots have beaten in this 7-game win streak before we get to all out over our skis. Let the record show, as my buddy Joey Dago, I don't think he's in here, would tell you, they lost to the Raiders opening week. You throw that out. They beat the Dolphins week 2. Not worth. All right. But since then, they've their last loss was to the Steelers, which doesn't. Okay, so they beat the Panthers when the Panthers weren't the Panthers. They beat the Bills, which was a big win. Saints don't impress me. Titans, that don't impress me much. Browns, they killed. Falcons, that was impressive. I had the Falcons in that one. No, I took the Patriots in that one, but they didn't cover. That's what they did, because Drake May is always good for a stupid turnover, and they beat the Bucs. All right, so if you're asking me, I just think the question is Justin Fields good enough to lose by less than 13? Or is Drake May and the Patriots D good enough to win by 13? All right. Vrabel, I hate this game. But given how bad Justin Fields is, this is the game Fields gets pulled. And if he gets pulled, I don't even know who the backup is. It's Tyrod Taylor still. The Jets suck. I'll take the Patriots. I would take the Patriots on this. In fact, let's do a fun little game. Let's go to the app called MyBookie. Now, hi, and welcome to Gino's Picks. We're at their third straight 2-2 week. Captain Coin Toss is sitting at 19-21 on the year, 48% against the spread. But what better week to get things up and running again than the same week the Democrats reopened the government? Yeah, they shut it down just to get you to vote for them so they could somehow win states like New York, New Jersey, and Virginia, also known as Southern Washington, D.C. Please, the only thing bluer than those states are the balls of the congressmen running them, like Chuck Schumer of New York, who's so old he hasn't come in decades, although he continues to screw millions of New Yorkers every day as he continues to rape us with his policies. Ironically, the only people that don't have a case against him are the young liberal women under 30 who keep voting blue because those broads are asking for it. See how I stayed on brand? In any case, let's see if I can't give you 4 picks to fuck your bookie this weekend. And by that, I mean the gambling app on your phone. Same screen you use to view porn. So maybe I should say, let's see if I can't give you 4 picks to see someone get fucked on a different app. That worked. Let's get to the picks. My first pick, the Packers are giving 7 to the G-Men at MetLife Stadium. The Giants finally fired Brian Daboll this past week, sending shockwaves through the NFL, as the other 31 teams now wonder where is our next offensive superstar. Because while Saquon Barkley and Daniel Jones were thriving in their new locations, star players under Daboll are having trouble surviving under his bonehead coaching. In fact, the only people that need to have their heads examined more than the Giants front office for bringing him back this season is their quarterback, Jackson Dart. Look at this hostage, who Daboll kept rushing out of concussion protocol and back onto the field to save his job. Funny thing is, Dart is the guy that Daboll thought wasn't better than Russell Wilson, who, with all due respect to Dart and his concussion, was a record-setting headache for Denver. So much so that they took a record-setting $85 million cap hit to dump him. Now he'll back up Jameis Winston, who gets the nod to start for a team that really has nothing to look forward to other than an offseason where they can draft a few offensive linemen to protect what is a very promising future in Dart and Scatterboo. This Sunday just promises to be a disappointment. I do not see the Packers letting the G-Men get close. Give me Green Bay, and I'll lay the 7. My next pick, the Chargers are giving 3 to the Jaguars in Jacksonville. Don't bet angry. Don't bet angry. If ever there was a time to steer clear of Gino's picks, this is the one, because this is an angry bet. The last time these two teams met, the Chargers blew them out in a playoff game. I turned it off when they were up 27-0 with a minute left in the first half. Kidding. As my wife and Matt Mead, remember, will actually attest, I called the choke job before the half even ended when the Bolts fumbled on a trick play to a guy that was on the practice squad the week before when Brandon Staley was starting Mike Williams in a game that was as meaningless as a Republican vote in a New Jersey election. On brand. But fun fact, the Chargers are 9-4 all time against the Jags. And if you take away the last 2 times they played, losses under Brandon Staley, with the first one being even worse, a meaningless week 3 game where Staley started Justin Herbert with terribly bruised ribs because Herbert said he wanted to play. Take away that stain of Staley, and the Chargers have not only won 8 of their last 9 meetings, but done so by an average of nearly 19 points. And that was before they got Jim Harbaugh, and a defense that has quietly stepped up while everyone's paying attention to an offensive line that that resembles more of a picket fence line that can't be ignored as it features more colossally gaping holes than the view. That's not fair to my Bolts because no one is trying to plug these holes. And unlike these 2 holes on the view, people are starting to believe in the Bolts, as despite being last in the league, the QB behind them has the 2nd most passing yards. Meanwhile, the Bolts D is no joke, leading the NFL in yards, points allowed, 3rd down percentage, and 2nd in sacks. Look for more of that Sunday as the Bolts hand Goldilocks just what he needs, a blowout. Give me my Bolts, and I'll lay the 3. They're going to kill him. My next pick, the Ravens are giving 7 and a hook to the Browns in Cleveland. I know that's a lot to cover in a division game, especially on the road. But the Ravens are the hottest team in football, playing the worst starting quarterback in the league. Am I bitter that the Browns and Dylan Gabriel couldn't take out the woeful Jets and Justin Fields last week? Sure. But it was how bad the Browns play caller Gabriel looked trying to do it. Because if you watch the game like we did, how could you not notice that not only can he not throw the ball downfield, but he has no business being anywhere on the field, as the only thing he has less confidence in than his arm is the rest of his body, as he completely avoids any contact. I haven't seen anyone that terrified of another player touching them since Magic Johnson returned to the NBA because he had HIV. Of course, Gabriel's problem is guys coming at him. Kidding. Magic was straight, unlike Gabriel, who at this point, they should spell his name with a Y. Actually, I take that back because the last thing Gabriel wants is to get pounded by another man. Look for the Ravens to kill the Browns this week, and don't worry about Gabriel. He's right at home getting pounded by a dozen purple helmets. Dicks. Give me the Ravens. I'll lay the 7 and a hook. Which brings me to my Double Your Money Monday night. Cowboys are giving the Raiders 3 and a hook in Vegas. Wow. I thought these videos were funny, but game recognizes game. And I have to admit that the only people that are laughing harder every Sunday than the ones watching Gino's picks are the ones watching Gino's picks, as he's 2nd in the league with a dozen INTs in just 9 games and just one behind Tua Tagovailoa, who has 1 more interception, but in his defense, 10 more concussions, leading to his poor decisions. But good news, Raider Nation. Smith posted to his Instagram this week. No excuses. Great things are coming. Please, Gino. They already are here. Given the way you keep turning the ball over, I'm fairly certain this game will be like the other 9 for Raiders fans, watching you throw the ball and saying, great. Smith is terrible and needs to find the bench. The Cowboys cruise. Give me Dallas, and I'll lay the 3 and a hook. 4 fucking road favorites I took. Ooh, good luck, people. Hitting on all of LOADZZ's favorites there. Russell Wilson, Geno Smith. Get the word from the man himself. Max LOADZZZ, everybody. How are you, big brother? Look at you popping in.
Good. How's everybody doing? Happy Friday.
Another Friday, Pete. Huh?
Mr. White, if Seattle makes it back to the Super Bowl, I don't care who they play. Sure, I'd like a rematch with New England. Well, let's face it. It's a different New England now. Different coach, quarterback. It's a whole new thing. And it's a different Seattle. So let's see how it goes. But, yeah, New England's looking good. By the way, I have Trayvon Henderson on my fantasy team. I want to thank Curtis John again for getting me involved in this league. 3 touchdowns last night. And I just got lucky because their starter went out. And really, Henderson should be the starter. Oh, my God. Hi. Oh, my God. This is what's going to go on now.
It's so funny. Shut up, Tommy. It's a funny story. Like when I first started doing these videos, like how long ago was it? Like 16 years ago? I would do them at my buddy's. Well, my buddy had a studio. Well, he doesn't. He worked for a studio in Woodbridge, New Jersey. Joey Fernandez. He still works there. And I'd always be like, "Are we allowed to be here?" He's like, "I don't know." So we would talk really quick. Like I talk fast to begin with, but I speak quickly to begin with. But I gave it a quicker cadence, which I love. It's come to be a bit of the signature, which works with this small attention span world. It's a good question. Thank you, Tommy. Smart ass yo loads.
Yeah,
You don't want me here, Kookie.
I love
So,
you.
yeah, I mean, I don't know, but I did say at the beginning of the year, and better believe it, I'm like, I couldn't believe, and I'm certainly in no way taking credit for that, but like, I couldn't believe in that division, the Niners, the Rams, who I was wrong about, the Rams who I was wrong about, I'm like, and I think a lot of us were like, Stafford doesn't have his heart in it. He's fucked anyway without his left tackle. Wrong about that, but still, I looked at it, I'm like, the Niners have the easiest schedule going, but they don't impress me. And I blacked out on and I forgot about the Cardinals because they're forgettable. And the Seahawks are going at plus 575. I'm like, why wouldn't you put $100 on that? Why wouldn't you? I mean, you'd be insane. Speaking of, why wouldn't you put $5? The question is, why wouldn't you put $5 down and gift a subscription? Thank you, Mr. White. And an even better question is, why would you possibly say I don't think the Colts will win 7, Gino, and bet against them, and then be this Giger Nets who owes me a little bit of change on that. So Loads, we know you're too much of a pussy to say nigger, but can we hear you say faggot? That seems.
Yeah, I can say faggot. As a matter of fact, I forget what.
As a matter of fact, this nigger will say faggot whenever he wants. Hold on, Pete. I muted it when you said schvug.
No, I that's what it was. I was talking to the big fella about our softball team. I'm like, maybe we should change our name to the retarded faggots. That way, we use both words at once.
Yeah, that'd be. And not that softball team. If it's the one I was on, I certainly played like one this year. So it was.
That's what I mean. We didn't win a game. We're going retarded faggots. I think that'd be top notch.
First ball of the season hit to me. I pop up. My hand goes. I fall forward. I trip again. The ball hits my glove. I stumble. You should have literally said, "Does that retarded faggot know how to play?" But you didn't.
You damaged my pitching debut. I didn't get the defensive help I needed.
Yeah, I was offensive on defense is what I was. That's what I was. There you go. By the way, in Hot Water Guy, he's the one always adding the edits to the football video. I like that he threw in the eggplants. That was some good jokes this week. If I do say so myself, the one about I said fucking you were you were probably up servicing Maxine, but the joke I had about Cleveland that I loved was that quarterback. What? That quarterback, Dylan Gabriel. You know what it is when you're a gambler, and we will get to politics.
No, damn, this is good.
We said this last night about one of the games. Like, you're begging me to take, I forget who. I'm like, and I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to be rooting for a guy that I know stinks because I got in my own head. And I've been saying all year, Dylan Gabriel sucks. But last week, put money on him. Well, put my pick on him. And he's afraid to throw downfield. Not only that, I saw him like run away from tackles. Like, if he was scrambling and he saw a guy come at him, he'd run sideways and backwards to get to the sideline, And the last time I saw that terrified of another player touching them was when Magic Johnson returned to the NBA.
I'm going to tell you, Seattle was one of the teams, pre-draft that people were speculating might take Dylan Gabriel. I'm like, no way. No, I do not want him. He's a bad short quarterback, and Cleveland's screwing themselves because they just don't want to play Shedeur Sanders. They just don't want to. It's ridiculous.
I literally thought this is the week you might see. I don't see what's going on. Why they're not doing it? I don't get it. I don't know what he did, who he pissed off. I heard before the season starts, well, you don't want a guy that shows up in a Rolls Royce that you can't motivate. You took the guy. He's there in his Rolls Royce. Yeah. You better motivate him because this guy stinks. Go, Pete. I'm sorry.
No, I agree with you. You drafted him, and there are people saying he should have been one of the top picks in the draft. You get him in the 5th round, and you're starting this guy who's no good. You know what I mean? He's not good. Let's call it for what it is.
Who, Shedeur or Gabriel?
Gabriel.
I agree. I literally did not follow.
And I'm not saying
I like the Ducks, but I didn't know anything about Dylan Gabriel. Like, I was shocked when I realized he's played in college 6 years.
Yeah, he
Six
played in the
fucking
first.
years.
Yeah.
Yeah, you suck that glass dick. I am so.
He
I have
played
not
in
had
the
a cigar in 4 days. Do you know why, Peter?
I can't imagine.
Because I really want a cigar. You know what I mean? Like if I'll go days without drinking just because it's not around. Like whatever. But I really want a cigar.
This
So I'm
cigar,
not having a cigar because I'm watching you suck that beautiful brown member, and I want it in my mouth. What? JX wants to know what kind of cigar that is. It looks.
And I was gonna answer him, but you continue to be profane. It is a.
That's what I do. I'm sorry.
It is a 20-year vintage, 20th anniversary vintage Rocky Patel. This is one of the ones.
Is courtesy of our boy Bob Fan Patrice, and I love those. Those are good. Those are good. Like I went through. I think I took 3 of those. I think you only got 1 or 2 of those. Sorry.
Yeah, I think I got 1.
I might have taken those. Sorry. By the way, real fast, our boy. Yeah, this is hilarious. So Kevin Brennan, whenever he snipes me, Peter, you know that. Like I've done it with you. I'm like, hold on, let me try and drop an N-bomb, right?
Yes.
He's sniping me on Wednesday, and I'm bashing somebody I hate in the Dabbleverse that I gotta stop doing. It's such a waste of my energy and their time. Pete, I know, but I'm not saying I'm gonna. At any rate, so I go, and she goes, and she calls me up, and she's like, "I hate black people." That's all I said. I said she called me up and said, "Pete, I didn't even say the N-bomb," and Kevin Brennan is sniping me. And I'm on YouTube, he's on YouTube, and they just end his stream. That's why my boy Vagabond, you realize you took down MLC inadvertently the day Mead was on. Hilarious. Like I tried so many times, and I'm like, and everyone's coming into my chat going, almost saw the hug. Everyone's coming into the chat going, you just got Kevin taken down. I'm like, I don't even know how I did that. It was kind of funny though. Just so at any rate, so yeah, that is what I knew about fucking Dylan Gabriel. He's Oregon quarterback. I don't have to tell you, Mason in Portland. Like I assume that they're never going to be Dan Fouts, or are they, Justin? We'll see this week.
Think he was at Oklahoma before. He was at Oklahoma before that, and I forget where he was before that.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah,
I didn't know anything about him, but he's not good. And again, Shedeur Sanders, if he doesn't get the nod this week, speaking of Jeff Heilman, his Ravens. I took the Ravens. I took 4 road favorites this week. That's so smart. But that's how the jokes went, and I don't care. And the Chargers should kill the Jags. I know I used bizarre data to start the video. Like they won 8 of their last 9 if you take out the Staley games, and that's got nothing to do with the current administration, for lack of a better word.
Jacksonville stinks. The Jets stink. Jacksonville stinks. There's teams that just stink.
Yeah.
And I thought Seattle might be one of them. I tell you what's interesting, what I didn't realize, maybe I didn't care to think about it, was it was the Rams who put the beat down on Darnold last year when he was with the Vikings. So this is a little more. This might be a little more difficult than I thought. You got to see how Darnold handles that. And some would argue he had better receivers with the Vikings. I would not.
He's got Jackson Smith, new Jigaba, right?
Last year they were better receivers, but and I think he's got a better running game with Seattle.
Yeah.
And a better defense to support him. So he doesn't have to do it all. I mean, I think they're going to try and run the ball a ton. I really do. I'm sorry. I was interfering with your filthiness with the Ravens.
Oh, speaking of my filthiness, did you see the title of today's episode?
No.
Can you see? Can you?
No.
It's Friday bonus loads, filibustin nuts. What do you think, Ange? What do you think?
That's good stuff. That's top notch.
Really clever. Are we nuts? Are we going to go nuts about the filibuster? Are we filibusting our nuts?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Hey, look how happy T. Kilgore is. The Trump flag is back, Pete.
Yes, T. Kilgore. I was using the ladder to hang the lights. I don't turn them on until Thanksgiving.
Yeah. He uses the ladder to hang lights and dangle Christmas balls. Am I right, Pete?
See, you think that's fun. Christmas balls is somehow funny to you. You got a few marbles missing. But by the way, I had to have an electrician come because we're having a problem with some of our lights inside, and we just got to talking, and the guy's like, they smoked their turkey, right?
Yeah.
They smoked their turkey, and he's like, "What do you?" I said, "Well, I showed him my deep fryer." I said, we just deep fried out here, and he's an electrician, and I'm like, "Yeah, they're telling me that I can't use that outside," and he's like, "Why can't you use it outside?" I said, "That's what the pamphlet says." Well, why the question? I guess they think it might get wet or whatever, and he's like, "Don't worry about it." So I said, "So I use it in the garage," and he's like, "Oh, that's fine." So then I told him about Friday, and he was like, it's amazing. He's like, "That is outstanding."
Oh yeah, Kiana was telling. I think she was telling Kiddo about Friday.
Spatchcock and smoke my turkey. We tried. So the problem was we tried to spatchcock the turkey one year, and I think something went wrong, and we cooked it in the oven. But I think we're cooking other things in there, and I didn't cook correctly. But I think spatchcocking is a good way to cook the turkey. I have never smoked the turkey.
Spatchcock sounds like something you need a salve for.
I have never smoked the turkey, but like I said, the kid was my electrician. He was like, all about they smoked their turkey. He might have been 32. I think he was like 35, he said. We got to talking. And Gene, I didn't say anything. I'm sitting in my house. I explained, because our house got torn down and all. I explained it to him, and I'm like, yeah, we got right back in about 2019. And he says, what does he say about 2019, Gene? He has 2 young kids. 2019, you got in just before. I don't want to say the word because everybody says everything comes back to it, but this guy did it. You got back in your house right before COVID, and then he called it a scam. And I'm like,
yeah.
And Maxine's in the other room, and she's like, you could talk to people forever. I'm like, I can't help it. And then we get to talking, and it's like, nobody wants to believe it. We're all the same. This 35-year-old Puerto Rican guy, me, we're all the same. We all see it the same. I shouldn't have. If you believe the media, I shouldn't have let him in my house. You know what I mean? I should be like, "What are you doing here?" It's ridiculous.
It's like whenever because I have the feed. I've got the feed that puts that stuff up, and whenever like it pops up my feed, I just listen to these people like, "You got to let COVID go." The people that want to let COVID go, I think, are 99% of the people that played along, fucking got the vax, did things, and they're like, it's over, and they want it. They want, like, it's over. I played, right. I survived, I win. But when you see like that Walensky cunt, the chick from the CDC going, if you're fully vaccinated, you don't have to wear a mask anymore. Just saying, look at you, you good little fucking slave, you good little cunt. So she's another one. Well, why'd you shut down the schools? Well, she laughs when she's talking. I want to punch her in her fucking teeth like a Wile E. Coyote cartoon.
Well, I didn't need it to go. All I was saying was I found it interesting that people are always like, well, Gene, you always bring it up, or Pete, you bring it up. Everybody brings it up. They just don't happen to be on Rumble, I guess. But it's not me who brings it up. By saying I moved back into my house, I got back in 2019. And I retired September 2019. I just gave him a friggin' date of when I retired. You know what I mean? Because he was like, he's like, oh, you were able, he was able to come out anytime. I'm like, yeah, because I'm going to be home. So I'm retired. It comes out of nowhere. You know what I mean? It had nothing to do with anything. So at any rate, did you, what was it? The Filibut Buster? Is that what it was?
Filibuster nut. Oh, by the way, really fast, let's say hi to Bob Van Patrice.
Hello, Bob. Thank you for the cigar. It is wonderful. We could talk turkey more here. How people cook their turkeys. I love the deep frying of the turkey.
Okay. I mean, we could do a Friday. What's that? In 2 weeks, we could do a Friday video. Fucking bonus loads.
Oh my! I don't know about that.
We'll have everyone there. We'll eat some tofurkey. Shout out. Curtis John says Gino gives Pete the old spatchcock balls on the stepladder in front of the Trump flag. True story. He ain't wrong. Look at Ange giggling. Look at Ange giggling.
Curtis, again, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for your demanding of me being in this fantasy football league. The aggravation and rage every weekend is unmatchable.
By the way, let's do this one now because I don't mind. We can get back to the filibuster because I know you'll get to it later. I have a ton of shit to say. Your running mate, of course, about these ridiculous Epstein emails. The left is claiming it's a victory for them, and they look like fools if you actually read them. It is exactly that, EK. You're much smarter running mate who doesn't give people the finger at whatever the hell it was when he asked you to give a toast. I got to find that again. I will say one thing. And then have at it, Loads. I'm sure you get that a lot from Maxine Norelko. Have at it, Loads. But they just released an email like Trump must know. They said name redacted is with him all the time, and the name redacted was Virginia Giuffre, who fucking hit by a bus, and they wouldn't send a rescue vehicle to her, and then she got to the hospital anyway and died. And I got to find this clip of a guy on CNN who actually wasn't Jennings.
It was a school bus. A school bus is what she was hit by, and they couldn't get anybody to help her.
Don't you think it's ironic?
Kids either. You got to be kidding me.
Don't you think it's ironic that a victim of pedophilia got fucked over by a bunch of kids? No? This guy on CNN that wasn't even Scott Jennings, Peter, fucking said it perfectly. It's like, I want to know why the they went through all this shit. And he's like, I'll find it. He goes, I wish you cared this much when Biden was in office, because everything they killed her is right, EK, and everything they're saying, like Virginia Jeffrey literally said Trump was not involved, and they suppressed her entire testimony because she went out and said Trump had nothing to do with me, and no one I spoke with had anything to do with Trump. But I am telling you, I don't know why this shit isn't released. I don't. Because if any people in government are fucking kids, including Trump, which you cannot convince me he did, otherwise they would have fucking let this out. It's got to be said. What is taking it so long, Loads?
Okay, I got it's one. Yes, the name that was redacted was Virginia Giuffre. The only reason you could give that the Democrats did that is to make it look more nefarious than it really is.
Of course,
Giuffre said repeatedly Trump had nothing to do with it. If anything, he threw Epstein out of Mar-a-Lago. She was friendly with Trump. She consistently said Trump never said it, did anything, didn't see him do anything. My other part of this is, look, the women, young people, whoever they were, who were abused in this, right? My understanding, and help me chat if I'm wrong, my understanding is they've had their day in court, they've pressed their charges, they've made their settlements, they've signed NDAs, some of them, whatever it might be, okay? And that should be the end of it. Look, I know we're all pissed off because we want to know who these scumbags were and who these guys were who did it, and that's fine. But I have nothing over them. Who the hell's going to bring charges against them? The charges were brought by the victims. Only the victims can bring a charge. Gee, I can't charge the guy with anything. What? Oh, this guy was a pedophile, and he's now in some position in government. I want him thrown out. Okay, I guess. And that's why I agree with Dave, whoever said it. Expose it all. Let the cards fall they may. We know it's not Trump, and let's move on. That's why the Epstein thing, that's one of those things that I've come, I guess, full circle on. At first, like, holy shit. But then I'm like thinking, wait a minute. Let's get down to how things really work. What are we really talking about, Gene? Somebody raped somebody. The person who got raped presses charges, and it goes to court. That's it. The rest of the world doesn't get to have at the rapist. You know what I mean? Other than the social stigma that goes on them for being that. So, and by the way, Trump now came out. This year, Trump came out and said, I want an investigation into Clinton, and he listed some other people who were in touch with Epstein all the time. I want the DOJ to investigate those people now because of this false bullshit with Epstein. He came out and said it. I could read you the thing. I could read you.
Well, see, that seems like, but if you're specifying people, that's kind of like targeting your enemies, which I have no problem with when Trump does that in certain things. But no, whole list. If Clinton's on it, he's on it. You know, like
Right.
I've had it.
Here's the thing.
It's just
You know who's been on the plane. You know who's been on the plane. They've been out for probably 10 years. You knew who was on the plane before Trump was elected the first time. Like, all this is out. So just go to those people, and you have the list. What is this mysterious list? They got to the island without going on the plane? Were they on Ghislaine's submarine? I don't freaking know. But you have the list of people who have been on the plane and been to the island. There's your list. Is John Legend dirty and his crazy wife? They're on the list. You're going to ask them? Who cares? You know what I mean? Trump said repeatedly, yeah, I'm on the list. Here was RFK the other day. Did you see he was getting interviewed? And they asked him, I wish I could remember who it was. They asked him, were you ever on Epstein's plane? He said, yeah, I was on the plane twice. Both times with my family. The one time we were flying down to Florida, and then the other time we flew my family somewhere. He said, yeah, just like that, he said it. Like, yeah, there you go. There you go. Yeah. You kidding me?
Yeah. That's the transparency that we're getting away from in this administration. I can't argue with Joey Dago. Like, the administration is letting me down. Like, don't get me wrong. I love it. This is what I voted for, but there's so much shit that's gumming up the fucking works. And
I don't. Here's the thing.
Don't get me wrong. I know I'm a novice at this, but I get very annoyed.
You could go with we can walk and chew gum thing, and the government can do all these things. No. I on a prize now. I on a prize. Epstein outside. Here's the prize. No mail-in ballots. No mail-in ballots unless it's military or whatever. No mail-in ballots. ID to vote. That's number one. You get that done. Who knows if the Democrats ever win another election? That's the first thing you got to get done.
Great point.
Paper ballots on election day. And then what Trump listed the other thing. Get rid of the filibuster. I was against that for a long time, but now he's right. The Democrats tried to do it last time, but Manchin and Sinema were two Democrats who voted against it. The filibuster wasn't there when the Senate first started. It's not in the Constitution. It's a rule of the Senate that senators created. Like I said, it's constitutional because the houses are allowed, Congress were allowed to create rules to, run themselves. But, but it's not in the Constitution. The tariff thing, Trump's got to figure out how to work that because he should be able to put tariffs on these people. Like these other countries put tariffs on our companies and they pay. But we have to wait for Congress to do it here. Yeah, I get it's in the Constitution. So then why doesn't Congress just say, all right, we'll pass a bill. We agreed all the Trump tariffs he's worked out. There you go. And you can't have the filibuster because the goofballs in the Senate will get rid of it. You know what I mean?
Oh, you don't have to tell me goofballs. My wife is a pea brain.
So at any rate, yes, there's another one. Dago got it. Getting all the Muslims out of here. And by the way, only the Sharia, I'll say it, your Sharia law Muslims. If you're just a Muslim, like a Catholic or whatever, and you could just be and not run with some crazy other law that you have, that's fine. No dual citizenship for anybody in the U.S. government. These are the things you got to do. And you got to keep did you see the Trump said something about giving people making under $100,000, $200,000 from the tariffs?
Giving people that make under 200K what?
Giving people who made under $100,000 a $2,000 check, a government dividend check from the money collected on tariffs.
Nice.
And then the rest would go towards the debt. And by the way,
we know Glue Glugman.
That 200.
By the way, Glue Glugman, I brought up that picture of Nancy Pelosi on Tuesday with Fred Rubino. If Trump was more like Candace or Kirk, we'd currently be alive. Everything needs to align to stop the evil that has run the world before Jesus. I will say this, Pete. Sorry, what?
No, the Dr. OK10, D-Rock 10. What's the proper pronunciation of that?
That's my boy, Mr. I'll tell you his last name's Angelucci. I don't care if I'm. I think
so. So he brings up a point that I don't know if you've seen it. I feel like you have seen it, Gene. All of a sudden, you showed that video when we bombed Iran, of Nick Fuentes, right? I don't know
Yeah.
if you remember that. That was the first time I had ever heard of Nick Fuentes, ever seen Nick Fuentes. No idea who he is, right?
Riper.
Yeah. So then your nephew has said, "Hey, have you heard of this Nick Fuentes?" I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" So he says, "So I've watched some of his stuff, but he was on with Tucker Carlson. I don't know if you watched it."
And by the way, speaking of Tucker, we'll get to your statement, our boy, because I did watch the fucking expose on Crooks. We'll get to that, but go on, Pete. What you were saying? Shout out.
Tucker Carlson has had all these different people on that he's interviewed, but this interview, everybody came down on Tucker Carlson. The Heritage Foundation is going nuts. People are resigning because Tucker Carlson platformed this guy. It's insane, and basically. Nick Fuentes.
Oh, Jesus Christ! I'm sorry.
And basically, yeah, he said some stuff that's racist. Sure, he does. Okay, like everybody says some stuff you agree with and some stuff you don't. But it's not you can't let this guy speak. And basically, it goes back to what D-Rock 10 said. His basic thing is, why are we giving all this money to Israel? We get nothing for it. And he would say that about any country. Like. Yeah. If you say, why are we giving the $10 billion to Italy? We don't get nothing for it. People be like, right, we shouldn't give $10 billion to Italy. They wouldn't call you an anti-Italianist. You know what I mean? But if you say we shouldn't give $10 billion to Italy, you can't to the Jews, to Israel, you're an anti-Semite immediately. That's crazy. You can't question that. Every other country that we do business with, you're free to question, and you're still solid American. There's no ism attached to you. There's an is, they might call you a nationalist, but as soon as you question anything about Israel, you're an anti-Semite. And that's crazy. Why are they different than any other country? And that just goes back to, I believe, what D-Rock was getting at. That's the only reason I brought it up.
No, Dr. OK. E-Rock's not here. He's a fat, useless fuck.
D-Rock. I called him D-Rock.
Dr. OK by calling him D-Rock. Yeah, big difference. Big difference. Yeah, being curious is illegal. It is. Oh, please. Like this.
Isn't he the big Steelers fan?
Who?
Dr. OK10?
I don't think Dr. OK10's a big Steelers fan.
Remember.
I mean, you might be Andrews. David Andrews is a big Steelers fan. Mark Andrews is not. He's the Ravens tight end.
Yeah, Nick, he is what he is, and he never says anything else. And Gene, I don't remember if we talked about this on here. When he was on Tucker, he spoke about how his career started. It's insane. I don't know if you saw it. He basically said he's from Chicago, Catholic family. Basically, he goes to Boston University. I'm pretty sure it's Boston University. It wasn't or Boston College. Boston University. He's walking around with the red hat. People give him a raft of shit. So this guy says, "I want you to debate this goofy liberal." Basically, a lot of people go to debate. Fuentes kills it. Some girl is there who's with the Daily Wire. She introduces him to Ben Shapiro and the Daily Wire people. They sort of want to have him on, but then he comes out and says the stuff he does about Israel. And Ben Shapiro then harasses the guy. And he said, "I'm broadcasting from my parents' basement with 100 people." Like, basically, why is Ben Shapiro interested in giving me a hard time? You know what I mean? It'd be like somebody coming after us. You know? Like, what do you care what we're saying to the people we're saying it to? You know what I mean?
Because you're not allowed to badmouth Israel.
But you can't, like he said, you're not allowed to be, they're the only, that's it, J-Ham Stoneface. That's it. But I mean, why the question becomes, why are they the only country you get labeled for if you question anything about them?
Because of the overarching, I think that's right, white guilt from the Holocaust. Like, same thing. People, you can't joke about it, and people like it is such a taboo. And it's if you, I was actually watching a little of this. Did you ever watch the speeches of fucking? You ever watch fucking? God forgive me, Hitler's speeches translated to English?
No. By the way, you said Hitler. We're on Rumble. We're okay. Can you say Hitler on YouTube, or do you have to say the chancellor or whatever? I don't even know.
I think I said Hitler and Kevin was sniping me, so he got banned on YouTube. But I mean, if you've never seen the fucking like I was viewing a few, and he basically here's a good one. Let's see.
He did not get sucked into the
look at this.
group
Just
crowd.
happens to be what's that, Pete? Just happens to be right here. Maxine, I'm a little behind. Did little Nicholas get sucked into the Groper crowd?
He did not get sucked. He sucked me into it, but he did not.
I've lost browser connection. Talk to them while I bring this up, Pete. I'll be right back.
He listens to a lot of different things. I was very surprised how much he knew about what was going on in the New Jersey gubernatorial election. I was like, wow, I didn't know you were paying that close attention to it. So no, he's not sucked into it, but he points out sort of the same things like, why aren't we allowed to ask these questions? Like, what the hell's going on here? So again, but I got to say, what's worse is the Muslims who are trying to bring in Sharia law. And I don't know if you saw, Seattle now has, they got their own Mandami out there now. The woman who became mayor of Seattle is 30 years old. Her parents are still paying her rent for her apartment. And she's the mayor of Seattle.
To Gina Bisconte, Longhorn Shipping Center, Austin, Texas.
It feels like cold land wet.
Give me a knife.
Vagabond, I was reading about that.
The Zionists hide in the Jewish community so they can defend. Yeah, like let me tell you something. There are certain people I listen to. I cannot recommend, obviously, Max Loads. That's where I get a lot of my political stuff. Two,
St. Ranger's Pocket.
And you know what? If more people got their information from that guy, things would be a lot better. I try and tell people that all the time, Gene.
I wish you was in here listening. Maxine was here. What was I going to say? So Jimmy Dore, and dude, I love fucking Dave Rubin, gay, Jewish, former liberal. But I'm telling you, like, you have to mix and match. And did you see the clip of, like, because I love Megyn Kelly and I like Candace Owens. I do. She's the only one still asking questions about what the fuck happened to Charlie Kirk. Well,
and I don't want to upset push-ups, but like I said, I went to see Mark
Levin's lost his mind. He's lost his mind. Did you see that shit?
No, I didn't. I went and see him.
Peter.
I went to see Mark Levin live. I've read his books. I went and see him when he was in New Jersey.
This is from Smartass Al's. Is he in here? He said he was sending it last week.
What?
And
he did.
I said send it to Pete so he gets to have any. Honey, I'm gonna need a glass with one of those Schwulg ice cubes I make. All right, where were you, Pete? Look at Ange laughing. Look at Ange. Look at your father-in-law, Angelo, laughing. Give me one of them Schwulg cubes on Smartass.
I like it. Thank you, Smartass.
Oh, thank you. And Smartass in Hot Water Library this week. So
that'll go well with the Friday treats and cigars, Gene.
It will.
So people aren't awares. On Friday, since we deep fry the turkeys on Thursday, I got all that oil in the deep fryer. So on Friday, everything goes in. Pumpkin pie, frozen pumpkin pie balls, macaroni and cheese balls. You name it, we'll deep fry it.
And then the kids go to bed, and then Friday night, everything goes in. Am I right? For Maxine, it's like a really Black Friday. Let me explain why. LOADZZZ is so huge. Yeah, by the way, be careful, Gene. It's a little strong. 121.6 proof. Are you out of your mind, smartass?
How far is that from moonshine? From grain alcohol? From Everclear? I love Blue Lumen. Make sure the bird is frozen solid. That's the conversation I had with the electrician. I'm like, these people who blow up their homes, I can't help it if people can't read. You know what I mean? It's very clear, I know. Very clear that your bird has to be thoroughly defrosted and dry. Yeah, so I don't hate Mark. I like Mark Levin. Like I said, I've read his books. I listened to him. He's all about the Constitution as well. But like you said, the only person you agree with 100% is your wife. So Mark Levin.
That's a T-shirt, Loads. Tell him, Maxine.
So Mark Levin, when he says he won't even get on the stage and talk to Nick Fuentes or Tucker Carlson, because Tucker interviewed Nick Fuentes on his show. You know,